This is Rack of the Week 236, and today we're going to talk about Nineball and straight pool. On the screen, you can see the names of my Patreon and YouTube supporters. Thank you very much for your support. And be sure to check out shortstoponpool.com for my Ghost Align tool, Ghost Aimers, Bridge Mates, and Ghost Bridges, along with my book on how to play straight pool. For years I've been wanting to do a comparison between Nineball and straight pool. And this week, just recently, Fedor Gorst ran 13 racks of 9-ball in a row from the break without ball in hand. So I thought, why not now? I want to compare that run to a 168-ball straight pool run that I did sometime last year. You're going to want to stay around to the end of the video to hear my final conclusion about the debate between 9-ball and straight pool. We're going to look at some statistics and the results of the break shots. Fedor Gorst ran 13 racks in a row. That's amazing, and that breaks Earl Strickland's record of 10 racks a row in 9-ball. But there's a difference. Fedor Gorst's run was on a practice table. It was not during a tournament. Earl ran 10 racks in a row during a tournament match. Why does that matter? It matters in 9-ball and in straight pool. Look at the high runs that we have on video in straight pool. 626, 714, 832. They're not really practice sessions, but they're on a table where the player can attempt to set a record over and over and over. If they miss, they just rack the balls and keep going. Whereas the high run, I believe, in straight pool during a tournament is just over 300 balls, and it's only been done once. So why is it different? Because it's a completely different environment, and it's the same thing for 9-ball, shooting on a practice table versus during a match. That's not to diminish the 13 racks in a row. That's incredible, even on a practice table. Let's compare. On your screen, you can see the result of all 13 break shots by Fedor Gorst, along with the 14th one where he didn't have a shot. 13 racks of 9-ball is 117 balls pocketed, but he didn't pocket all those with deliberate shots. Some of those balls went in on the break. He actually pocketed 94 balls in a row without missing. 94 balls is a very respectable straight pool run. But it's not special. It's not outstanding the way that 13 racks of 9-ball is. I'm comparing this to my 168-ball run because 168 balls of straight pool is 12 racks. So 12 racks of straight pool, 13 racks of 9-ball. On your screen is the result of each of the break shot in my straight pool run. Here's one key difference. The cue ball is safe, and I have an easy shot to start the rack. Safe cue ball, easy shot to start. Safe cue ball, easy shot to start. I won't go through them all. You can pause the video and take a look if you want. Let's compare that to 9-ball. In rack number 2, the cue ball did not land in a safe spot. The 2-ball's right here, so Fedor does have a shot on it, but it's a difficult shot. All the other racks, the cue ball stopped pretty close to center table. Not exactly, but somewhat safe. And that's due to his skill in executing the break shot. But let's take a look at the opening shot. Rack number 1, he's got a tough shot on the 2. So that's one that's a tough shot. Rack 2, difficult shot on the 2-ball. Rack 3, difficult shot on the 2-ball along with getting position somehow on this 3. So that's 3. Rack 4, I won't mark on it because that's an easy shot that leads naturally to the 3-ball. Rack 5, he's got a combination, long combination, difficult shot. Rack 6, easy shot, and position is right there. Rack 7, he didn't make the 1-ball, but he made something else, and that's an easy shot on the 1, and the 2-ball's right there. Rack 8, the 2-ball is a relatively routine shot and come across table for the 3. Rack 9, difficult shot on the 2-ball, accompanied by difficult position. He actually goes 3 rails around like this to get on the 3-ball, so that's a tough shot. Rack 10, almost impossible shot. Many players, this would have stopped their run. He cannot cut the 2-ball in the corner. There's not enough room. He plays a carom off from this ball to pocket the 2-ball. Then he's got to play the cue ball off the 3 or off the 4 and bring the cue ball around to get on the 2-ball where it's up. So that's a difficult shot as well. Rack 11, easy shot, easy combination. Rack number 12, super easy shot. Rack 13, 2 balls right there, 3 balls right there, real easy. Rack 14, no shot. If the 2-ball had stopped here, he would have had a shot. Look at the balls. He would have had another run out. But the 2-ball kept going, and it ended up on the rail. He tried to go rail first, but didn't make it. So, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 13 racks where he had a difficult shot to start. So, 6 out of 13 compared to 12 racks with an easy shot to start. So that's one difference between the two. But that belies a crucial difference between the games. Both of them are dependent on the break shot, how well the ball's spread, how well you control the cue ball. But your result in 9-ball is largely due to luck. Yes, the breaker can control the cue ball with skill, and the breaker can look at where the 2-ball is in the rack and kind of make a prediction on where it'll end up on the table. And they might try to play position for that. However, with current rules for 9-ball where they're racking with the template, the cue ball does the same thing. It just goes back and forth. So can you really play position on the 2? It's kind of, there's a lot of luck involved in that break shot. Compared to straight pool, a skilled straight pool player is going to be able to control the cue ball off the break shot from a variety of angles, and they know where the corner balls are going. They don't know where all 14 balls are going, but they have a real good idea where the corner balls are going, and they can play position off in the break shot so that they hopefully have at least one shot. In fact, during Fedor's commentary on his 13-rack run, he says, 9-ball is all about the break shot. That's true today, and players have been saying that for decades. Another crucial difference is that in 9-ball, each rack begins with ball in hand and a tight rack of all the balls. Whereas in straight pool, each rack begins by you having to play position on the break shot and being able to leave a ball in break shot position. And not only do you have to break the rack wide open, think how easy straight pool would be if you could just shoot straight at the rack and smash it wide open. No, you have to pocket that ball and open the rack and control the cue ball on the same shot. During Fedor's 13-rack run, he had to shoot some difficult shots. Aside from the ones that I just mentioned, once in a while, his cue ball would get out of position a little bit, and he had to come with a tough shot. But for the most part, every ball pocketed was a very deliberate shot. There was no slop, and a deliberate positional route with the cue ball to get on the correct line to the next ball. That's not easy to do. Look at all of these racks and ask yourself, could you run out from this position? Your average 500 Fargo player is not going to run out half of these. Your 600 Fargo player, yeah, probably run out half of these, maybe a little more than half. I think your 700 Fargo player is a favorite to run out most of these, but they're probably going to get tripped up and make a mistake in one or two, maybe more. It's only an 800 caliber Fargo player that can run all 13 of these and run them in a row. And so I'm pointing out that 9-ball is not easy. It's a difficult game. The difference between 9-ball and straight pool is that 9-ball is simple. Now let's compare to straight pool. You approach the table with each of these 12 layouts. How often are you going to successfully clear all of those tables and play position for the break shot? 500 Fargo player, never. 600 Fargo player, half the time. 700 Fargo, more than half of the time, but they're also going to be susceptible and make some and trip up. I'm a 670 Fargo player. I happened to run all of these out and scored a 168 ball run, but I've also failed on racks just like these. 800 Fargo player, yeah, they're going to run these out pretty consistently. During my run, I had a few recovery shots, nothing extremely out of the ordinary. Same thing with Fedor. He had a couple of recovery shots where he misplayed position, but was able to make them and continue. Now we come to a huge comparison between the two. Look at these 13 layouts. There isn't a single trouble ball on any of them. Now, we can say that this is a trouble ball. The 2-5 combination right here in rack 5. That's definitely, we would consider that a trouble ball if we had to shoot that shot in straight pool. But there's no clusters where you need to run into balls with the cue ball to open up shots. Compared to these, how many clusters are there to open? Look at rack 1, cluster, cluster. Rack 2, cluster. Rack 3, cluster. Rack 4, cluster. Tied up balls. Rack 5, cluster. You get the point. The only rack that's wide open is this one. And I would still challenge any 600 Fargo player to set these balls up and clear this table 10 times in a row. Just because the shots tend to be shorter and closer, that doesn't mean it's easy to make 100 or 168, however many balls in a row. It's a tough game. And considering the fact that almost every single one of your racks in straight pool are going to have clusters where you need to have the knowledge and skill to deal with them, it's a tough endeavor. 9-ball is about shot making. As I said, the game of 9-ball is simple. There's very little decision making, especially compared to straight pool. The ball that you have to shoot is decided for you. You don't have to decide that. You must shoot the next ball in order. Whether you shoot it or play safe, that's about the only decision you make. How to play position, you've got to make those decisions, but it's either stun the ball and come across or go 2 rails around. It's that kind of simple decision. So the game of 9-ball is simple by definition. The game of straight pool is anything but simple. It's complex. Where should I play position from rack number 2? I'm going to shoot the 2-ball. Where are you going to play position? You're going to go forward and try and open these. You're going to draw back to center table. You're going to stun straight up. You're going to play position for the 1. You're going to play position for the 10. It's all wide open. What do you do? It's extremely complex compared to 9-ball when it comes to decision making. There's a lot of knowledge and experience that goes into that to learn what gives your highest probabilities of clearing the table. We're looking at 13 racks run in a row. We've all run racks of 9-ball. 13 in a row is what makes this run special. But why did it happen? Largely due to luck on the break shot. Now, you have to have the skill of an 800 Fargo player to be able to clear all those tables in a row after the break shot. But you need to have luck on the break shot to be able to get a shot on the 2-ball in the first place. And indeed, that's the only thing right here in rack 14 that stopped Fedor. As I mentioned earlier, if the 2-ball had stopped here, the odds are well over 90%, probably well over 95%, that Fedor is going to clear that table because it's simple. When I see these layouts, each of these layouts, all 14 of them, there's not a problem on the table. From the point of view of a straight pool player, this looks like the second half of a straight pool rack where most of the work is already done. All the clusters have been open, all the trouble balls are pocketed, and now everything's wide out, open and clear. This is not hard. They're all in the open. Now, sure, you have to shoot them in order. That adds difficulty. That's why, if it wasn't for that, 9-ball wouldn't even be worth playing. So sure, you have to shoot them in order, and that adds the difficulty. But when I look at these as a straight pool player, it's just execution. Get on the right side of the ball, play position to get on the right side of the next ball, and that leads you. Compared to this, where you've got to play position in numerous ways, repeatedly, 14 times per rack. The position isn't set for you. It's not like you have to go from this ball to this one. You can go to whichever one you want. So now that you'll not only do you have to decide which ball to go to, you have to know how to get there and get there with precision. In 9-ball, when you're playing position, you're often playing longer position and you're leaving the cue ball farther away. It doesn't matter if you have a long shot. You just need to get the right angle so your cue ball goes naturally to the next ball. In straight pool, it may seem simple. You can shoot any ball on the table. Well, you got to pick them off in the right order. In order to do that, your cue ball has to land in much smaller position zones, not only on the right side of the ball, but smaller position zones in order to not have to adapt your pattern and end up shooting a bunch of hero shots where your cue ball's traveling a long distance. So my point is, 13 racks in a row, 9-ball, it takes the skill of an 800 Fargo player to be able to do that, but it takes luck to even have a chance. Whereas in straight pool, it doesn't take luck to have a chance to do it. All right, so this is the moment I told you I'd give you my final conclusion. First of all, it takes an 800 Fargo player in order to run 13 racks in a row. But it only takes luck in order to have a chance to do that. Compare that to straight pool. It doesn't take luck to have a chance to do it. It's a skillful shot on the break shot and between every break shot. Straight pool is a complex game, and it takes skill on the break shot and on every shot in between, along with knowledge and experience. My final word, 9-ball is bravado, and straight pool is intelligence. That's why I prefer straight pool. But my final response is they're both good. It's apples and oranges. We cannot make a direct comparison because 9-ball is 9 balls per rack, straight pool is 14 balls per rack. Nine ball is a smash break where you're hoping for luck. Straight pool is pocketing a ball and opening the ball strategically. Nine ball has simple rules. Straight pool is very complex. Nine ball doesn't take a lot of knowledge in order to learn how to transition from ball to ball. Straight pool takes an incredible amount of knowledge to decide what to shoot, what's important to leave, what's important to move. I think the sport of pool is better served with both. I don't like the fact that nearly all professional level pool today is nine ball. That hurts the game of pool. We need one pocket, we need straight pool, and 10 ball, and banks. That's the reason why tournaments like Derby City and the International Open and others are so popular, because you get to go out there and show your skills at other games. Tell me in the comment section what you think. Which game do you prefer and why? And do you think there should be more of other pro games being played in professional tournaments besides nine ball? Look forward to your comments, and everybody be polite. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you're going to play pool, play it straight. See you next week on Rack of the Week. Bye.